Hello, inspired podcast community. I'm so happy. I have the honor and the pleasure to present today our new interview guest, Dolly Alessandra. Yes, and how we met is we used to be both PGI consultants for the Proctor Gallagher Institute. Then we get involved, or I get involved in Dolly's beautiful book project, Circle of the One. And afterwards, we work a little bit together in the Napoleon Hill Institute. Yes, I had such a beautiful experience with Dolly, and I'm very, very grateful about that. Thank you so much. And please introduce yourself to the audience.
Thank you, Caroline. I got to travel back with you as you share how you and I met. And it's really, really, really cool because I got to see things like I shared with you before that others will experience through your storytelling. And however, I got to be there. I got to really see the feedback of manifestation. I remember too, I don't know if you remember this, I was really afraid of doing a TikTok video, but I did. I had just began this goal of doing this. And you inspired me by a comment that you wrote because of an exercise that I found out about through Steve Harvey. And one thing that I didn't know about you then, but then I started to find out about you because, well, that was just what was meant to be for me to see, was you said, Dolly, I did the exercise and it worked. And do you remember what the exercise was?
Yes, I remember the day exactly. It's a skill of mine. It was in May 2022. And your TikTok, I didn't know that you were afraid of doing TikToks, but you did it anyway. So congratulations. And the exercise you shared was doing a list of 300 things you want to see accomplished. And I choose the word you want to see them accomplished. That doesn't mean you have to accomplish them. So I started on 1st of May. I remember the date because I put it on my list. And I worked the whole year with that list. 300 things, and I shared with you at the end of the year that it worked and I accomplished 95% without knowing. Yes, effortless.
And one thing I want to share about how powerful this was is that you were telling the truth because I felt it, and more about what your willingness of what you're willing to do, to lean so much into what you believe. Me being able to be a witness to, even right before the call today, you even said, right, on a certain subject, and you said thoughts become things. And instantly we pivoted. And that ability to do that is this is what this journey has been for me in the last 7 years, which is, wow, when we do change our personality, our personal reality shifts, because you were that reflection for me. And was that a surprise that was, you talk about being in this collective project of this birth of a book. And isn't it interesting how so much of the intention and all the things we put into it, how much of that came true? And then we got to be a witness to each other's stories. Hey, this podcast, even all these different people you're introducing to your guests, your audience, these are the true stories of people that do the work, and people are meant to hear these stories, because had I not done the TikTok, you wouldn't have done the exercise. Had you not done the exercise, you wouldn't have given me the feedback I needed along the way. Because let me tell you, there were times that I got really scared of doing things I'd never done before and doubting even what I was saying. And then I would think of what you said and I would say, well, and I would be coaching, here I am a coach. And then I would have these doubts. And so what would I do? I would borrow Caroline's belief. I would share Caroline's story, because what did that still do? It allowed me to still be authentic, because I too can be afraid. But I remembered, as our mentor, Bob Proctor, shared, if you really want to move in speed of embodying this, teach it. Didn't he? So teaching it and then being it and implementing it. And so here I am on TikTok all freaked out. You come on and give me the feedback. You give me that reflection and say, hey, this really works. And then I remember you, right? I remembered that feeling. And then here you came onto the project. You became this character and you started to do everything this character would do so that you could manifest more of that reality. And I got to watch you do it. Because even you, when I just told you about the project, who was the first to sign up? You.
Dolly, I didn't know that. It was January the 2nd you reached out to me. We talked, you presented your vision. I don't say book project. It is the technical term book project for people to understand, but it is the whole vision about the book, the trilogy, or you call it anthology. Difficult word.
Yeah.
Right. And the oracle cards that are we could touch it. 3 weeks ago, I could touch it for the first time. It is the goddess I chose, Hera, and it was in your vision first. It was in your imagination first. So what inspires you? You shared it was my feedback for doing the exercise, and I want to share. I did it again for this year. Do it. 300 things, they will be done whenever you choose to. Who inspires you, Dolly?
Wow. Who inspires me? You know, right now, I would say, wow. There are some faces that come forth. And right now I would say Omar, he's a mentor of mine. And I just want to share why, especially now, because we have so many teachers and because I'm inspired by so many, because you see, I pull in everyone's story. So to say who is that one person is also really hard. But the reason why I choose him is because he also has this ability to pull it all in at once. So in other words, even though I think of one name, it's such a special day today. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Which is December 21st. It's a very special number, 1221. And that goes really far in history for me with the client that transitioned. And this angel number that him and I would use so we could connect. So going back to who inspires you, I wanted to learn how to do that. I wanted to learn how I could be in everything at once. Like, our mentor, Bob Proctor, said that this is what we were. And he did the best he could to share it on a level that I understood it. And then he would say, you only understand it from your level. And then that meaning, didn't it get deeper and deeper because of our willingness to go deeper and deeper into the cave? And the scarier it got, we reminded each other, okay, you're the light, you're the light. Okay, you're the light, you're the light. That wasn't always easy because sometimes I would see others as darkness. They would show up so fearfully. And what Omar has recently taught me, and again, just using his energy, because that's what he channels God. That's really what he's doing. It's not really him. And that's something too. And why he inspires me is he's aware of that. So there's paradigms he also has, and I've been around so many leaders. I've seen they're human, and, and so it's like, okay, we are not, like Michael Beckwith says, we're not ascended, right? Yes, we are. But remember, we're also descending. Bring heaven back on earth. Be that light when one turns off, right? Be that light for others. And so that right now for me is, and I've had some manifestations around some things I wrote down and that I wanted to be a part of. And that's been manifesting in a way where I sometimes there's no words, and it's the good news, and it's the only way that you can share it is by doing it, and it isn't always easy, as we both know.
Yes, we know. And I want to add to that or ask you, what I learned is about the 3 planes, physical, mental, and spiritual plane, and that we are all at once, all at the same time now in this experience. So no excuses. We are not ascended. No, we are here. We can talk to each other. We can feel. We can touch. we can touch other people by our interview.
Yeah.
So what? How do you inspire others?
Oh, that's so cool. I would say the way I do it would be this beautiful woman. She's 74, said it really magnificently. Uh, she says, Dolly, I'll summarize it because I can go so far deep into the rabbit hole. And she would say, you're the drum, you know, and why I feel it this way is because I feel that the way I'm able to inspire others is through storytelling. So as I share with you, what I will do is I'll just pull that person in, and then I breathe them in, and I do my best to see it from the highest, greatest good that I possibly can. And then just being as transparent as I possibly can be. So telling on myself as much and bringing as much as that shadow part of me to the surface and really doing things that I'm afraid of doing. And then surrounding myself with people that inspire me. And then they shine that light for me. So that's, I think, that's my opinion anyway.
Oh, you can expand on that. What about the lady of 74 years old? You didn't you
Oh,
didn't
did I not finish? Well, she was saying I was the drum, and she was
ah,
talking about like an orchestra, if you were to say there was a composer and, there would be, different parts of different, there'd be the strings, there'd be, I forgot, she knew all the instruments really well. And I see that on a mass level, even though she was saying individually, I see it so it's expanded for me. There's this other vision that I see, and everything is really blue, but and then it's all lit up. And that's actually where I live. Well, when I say that, what I mean is I had seen it before I actually manifested it, and it does turn blue. So why I shared this with you this way is when she says the drum, she says she also mentioned, I believe, well, this is my translation of it, was, it's like the voice, it's the tone. And so when I say, oh, like when I listen to, oh, the power of authenticity, the power of, unconditional love, all I can do is share it from my point of view and my perception and what I felt from it and how I did the best I could. And so this drum that she spoke of, and I felt it from the very little that she said was, she said, you inspire because it's that storytelling, it's like the people feel the emotions of it. They kind of go with you. So then I think of the word of, the first person to say it to me was Yannicki. She said, you're a time traveler. And I just accepted it. I just instantly, I was like, you know what? You have identified exactly what I've been trying to say. Because I travel there with everyone I speak to. So when I'm with you, I'm really tuned in because I'm genuinely curious about you, like really curious. And because I really want to know, I want to know more about me. uh, so that to me, I hope that I was able to unfold that. It meant a lot because my father's 74, and to have this woman be a part of this journey with me and say, you've made an impact even in the smallest way, and I'm now doing something I've never done before, even though my father can't do that, or you shouldn't say can't, but just it's not, there's just some choices that he hasn't made yet. It's really wonderful to see, it just means a lot to me, so and then because so it gives me a lot of hope, more like when I say hope just to say it in a storytelling, but a knowing.
well, it's a knowing. And I like to add, when I think about, or when I think of the drum, then it's also rhythm and persistence. Yes.
Mm,
There was another.
yeah, the music, I love that. And the music is so beautiful.
You need an orchestra. Yeah, of course you have the first violin, if it's called that way in English. In German you say the first. Yeah, it's the first. It's the one who leads or so. Of course you need someone. Yeah, there was another thought. It's gone now. So your gifts and talents for the world, for the world are?
My gifts and talents. Mm. I'll use the words right now because it's something that hasn't been so easy to always receive. And I've done a lot of practice because I've tried to reject anything that might put me in a spotlight to say anything positive about myself. And I know that what I wanted, my name means gift of God, Dolly. It's short. If you look, my legal name is Dolly, but I guess it's short for Dorothy. But and I always remember thinking, how stupid. Dolly doesn't even have a meaning. They had to say it was like short for Dorothy. Dolly doesn't even exist, because God definitely did. I'm no gift from God, because prior to getting into this information, I didn't realize that we really could change. It was just a programming. It wasn't really who we truly were. So I never could associate my name with it. And so what I do know, and what I in this journey is that I wanted to explore more of what those gifts were. Like, what could I bring to the earth? What could I actually do that could serve? And I didn't know. And every time I thought I did, and the more I set these goals, and I'd say, oh, it's going to be this. Oh, it's going to be this. And I'd put certain titles on it and certain amounts of money. And I realized that's just setting the GPS, in a language that we understand. And but really I always wanted to like have a psychic ability, and I didn't know what that meant. I just knew, could I tap into the different realms and reality? Is there really, there surely, and if there was, could I maybe, and it was, but at first I had to say these other things because it was so woo-y, and I was like, is there real, everybody's going to associate that with crazy. So, just little by little by little. So I would say, the gifts I'm unfolding more and more, but I really do believe that it's my ability to see, really truly, not always, but when I can and when I do go into alignment, the essence of who that person really is, and like really see it brightly, and then be able to transfer it so that they're like, oh, maybe.
And see the vision.
The vision, well, so basically it would be, if you said to me, I have these goals that I want to set. I hold that vision with you because I really believe you. I really believe that you can really do it. I travel, it's like this connection that I have. So I like go in there with you. And I feel the other person believe in themselves, even if it's just for a moment, which is really amazing.
I feel it because we were in different projects together, and your book, which is not, it's only the beginning, because because it's only volume 1, and the journey continues. So over all the time, and I wanted to drop it. There was a moment I was totally in disbelief about myself, even though the chapter was ready, but I was doubting it, that I could send it in, or this could be published that way. But at the end, it is my story, and I decide how it looks like, or how it is presented. And so thank you so much for believing in me and the other authors, and also to keep the faith for the whole volume 1 and the others, of course. So I remember what I wanted to say, because you mentioned Yanaki, my dearest friend from New Zealand, our friend, and she will be on a later episode as well, of course. Yes. So much. Wow, amazing. Now, do you have any offer, services you want to share with our inspired community?
Well, before I do that too, thank you so much. I just want to also add, if I may, about how I also too share about you, because how you identified and even your picture was so striking. And I related so much to that reflection. And as a matter of fact, I was like, I even said when that image was created, I said, oh, I really like that. I think mine needs to be redone, and it was so magnificent. And then I remember you saying, I embody Hera. And it was like a storm. It was like, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm doing the best I can in English language. And I thought, of course you have to. So of course, you have to have all the characters. You have to have the Kuan Yins, you have to have the Isises and the Cleopatras, and the Heras and the Zeuses and the Hades, and all of them. This is what makes it. This is this experience we're having. Like you said, we could just embody. We could just be it. God, just recently, I was learning all these books we learn and all these different things that we are capable of doing. These superpowers, so to speak. And like when you ask, like, what is that gift of yours? And I feel like I'm leaning more and more into that. And it is this, like I said, the psychic ability to, to strengthen those unseen, like intuition, that we all have, that we know we do. We've tapped into it before. And I just wanted to thank you for your vulnerability to share your story the way you wanted to share it, because there's going to be a different energy. And that was the thing. I had people tell me, let me tell you, the rock and rolling that book did was because people would say, we can't accept this. This is not it doesn't match that. It has to go like this. It must be like this. It should be in this order. And you can imagine like the mess behind the scenes. And it wasn't good or bad. It just was. I'd never done it before. And this is huge for your audience to know, is that you're never going to know how to do it. You got to mess up. I say mess up, but again, just so that you can just be there in the story. That's the fun. That's the growth part. That's the part where you start to strengthen. This is where the triggers begin and the activations of everything, because the universe is going to say, who are you really going to show up as? Who are you really going to be? Are you going to be in alignment with what you say and what you've been writing? Or are you going to react and conform? And that's meeting the universe halfway. And had I not surrounded myself with people who inspire me, I would have quit too. Man, I was with you. I was like, this isn't worth it. I'm losing money. I was like, and I'm losing faith too. It's cracking relationships. I feel like things are falling. I mean, it was like, I felt like sometimes we hit all kinds of icebergs. And I was always reminded, Dolly, if it was easy, they're simple, but it's not easy. And how big this is for you. It's your movie. Yeah. And it's whatever you believe, and everyone on board this, this beautiful co-creation was the stories for me were the deities, the children of God, the real stories, the real energy. So that when someone read it, they're like, whoa, what the heck just happened? I don't even know what I just read, or I really was meant to hear. Whatever it is, it's triggering, because these people are sending out certain thoughts. And so it meant a lot to me for the vulnerability of everyone that did hang on, because it did. We had authors, we hit the 33 mark within a month or something. I mean, we were fast, and then it started rocking and rolling, and then it was starting to do its thing, because I was also told, Dolly, it's not as easy as you think. 33 different personalities, right? And
no,
yeah,
to believe is true.
But it was beautiful, because it's like watching a really good movie. And I just want to thank you for your vulnerability, for sharing your story, and, doing this and always stepping in and being uncomfortable. But then here's the best part. You ready? Why do I follow Omar? Right? It's because your open-mindedness. You don't say, I know it all. You say, okay, let me be open-minded. Let me accept. Okay, let me lean. Okay. Right. You're not, no, I know everything, because it's not, because if you were, this would not be a leader I would want to follow. I want to follow those that are open-minded, that are willing to have the difficult conversations and embrace, and to be open-minded and do better. And that's one thing too that I've seen you do. And it's inspiring for me. And so, yeah, I mean, for anything, I would just, if people wanted to find me, I don't know how to find me. go to dollyalessandra.com or ellavitality.com or circleoftheone.com, or reach out to Caroline directly. I think that would probably be best. I think reaching out to you, and then you'd probably can feel, what best to do. But really, it's thank you so much for having me on. This was really cool.
Thank you.
Really fun.
It is easy. So I put your pages, your websites in the show notes, of course. Yeah. And I would love people to reach out to you please use the word inspired. So we know you are coming through that podcast. The podcast will last the next decade. So when people reach out in 2030, when you are on your starship, they will reach you. Thank you so much. Wow. We can talk next year, same time, and see where we are. That's
Ooh,
me.
I love that idea. I'm all in.
Thank you so much. Have a nice
Thank you.
day. See you in the next episode.